What's good, everybody? It's your boy Vexx Unseen, and today we are seeing the real villain of Nope. Now, I don't know if y'all have seen Nope. This is one of Jordan Peele's biggest movies. My favorite Jordan Peele movie, in my opinion. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I watched Us. I watched Get Out. I watched Nope. It's just I don't know, man. There's something about getting like Nope. It just really, the whole story and like the mystery of what was in the cloud and all that shit. Like, you really thought it was aliens, and then like it just ended up being some completely other shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the real villain, honestly, for me, I don't really know, bro. There's a lot of people that just really have their own like agendas and shit that they want to do, like in terms of what they want. You know what I'm saying? In terms of the Asian guy, he just wanted entertainment for, like, you know, some money and shit, banking on the point that, you know, he was on Gordy and all that shit. And you know what I'm saying, the farmers, they just wanted, you know, they just wanted Henry the farmers, bro, the horse damn, the horse trainers, bro. They just wanted money from, you know, because their father died, and they were the descendants of people who used to like be in movies and all that shit. So I mean, I don't really know who's the villain of this shit, but you know what I'm saying, let's check it out though.
This video is sponsored by Mubi. Go to mubi.com/comicslight for your extended free trial.
That shit was the weirdest part, bro. I'm not gonna lie. That Gordy scene is terrifying, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. That shit made me terrified of chimps and monkeys. I was already afraid because of like the whole Michael Jackson bubble situation, but this shit right here, nah, it's on a whole different level, bro. Spoilers for sure. If y'all ain't seen the film, please go watch it and then come back to this and watch this video, bro. I'm telling y'all, bro. Do not make me spoil this for y'all.
What does a chimpanzee on a rampage in a sitcom have to do with two siblings who are trying to capture images of a UFO? In Nope, there are two sides of the story that at first feel somewhat disconnected. At the very opening of the film, we see a POV shot of a horrifying scene.
Very so.
We don't get any context for what is happening, but it's...
I mean, just look, if somebody just took a picture of this shit, bro. Look at the people in the crowd just hiding. This is terrifying, bro.
pretty clear something has gone horribly wrong. After this opening, we don't see or hear anything about this moment again until OJ and Emerald run into Ricky.
I was a little juke.
Ricky.
And
yeah.
we learn that he was a child star in a sitcom that had a chimpanzee as part of the cast.
Yeah, my pops told me about this show. The monkey went crazy or something.
We eventually see a flashback of what went wrong, and within that scene, we see a very traumatized little Ricky.
So what happened really, man?
But there's a moment here that gives away the connection between this subplot and the main story. Listen to how Ricky tells the story of what happened to him.
You haven't seen the Bad Gordy sketch on SNL? I mean, I pretty much nailed it better than I could.
When he tells the story, he doesn't give his own first-hand account of his experience. He talks about SNL's rendition of the...
I love how, like, people... I literally thought this was, like, a real-ass show, bro. Like, this shit really... I thought, like, Gordy was, like, based on some shit. Like, not exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because, obviously, we would have known about this shit if it was real. But, you know, just, like, take inspiration from an actual show. But, like, they just really made that show from scratch and shit. Like, based on 90s nostalgia and all that shit. And then made us, like, a whole show off of that. Just to add to, like, you know, the depth of the story and shit. So that was like fire, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro.
He communicates and processes his own traumatic experience, not through his own perspective, but through a depiction of the events.
Gordy Catan goes off. And it's Catan. He's just crushing it. He is a force of nature. He is killing on that stage.
I think this clues us into the idea at the core of Nope, a relationship to spectacle and traumatic events and images as viewers and creators of those images.
The word
This nigga too, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. This
Viewers
guy
and creators.
This nigga right here, bro. I swear, he's the only reason that, like, most of us got killed, bro. He could have just added another tape and then got the footage of the fucking creature, and then, like, we would have never been in this situation, bro. Like, this nigga made things 10 times harder.
Those images.
The word that we said the most on set, or I said the most, was spectacle. And so that was the starting point for me in a lot of ways of what I knew I wanted to give the audience.
Most of us avoid watching real horror. While the industry for fictional horror movies is huge, there are documentaries of atrocities that are incredibly hard to watch and deeply horrifying on a level far beyond the latest Blumhouse scare that we don't really seek out because they're truly scary, not in the cathartic therapeutic sense, but in a paradigm-shattering, existentially terrifying, leave you traumatized or just gross sense. Except maybe we do more than we think we do. We have a really complicated relationship to images of horrifying things.
True. I mean, you ain't wrong.
On one hand, we want to look. We all know it's there.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I would have never got out of that fucking house, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Hand me the house, the car. I'm never getting out of that fucking car, bro. I'm not even opening the door. What? We don't know what that shit is capable of, nigga. I'm not opening that door. Nope. Hell no.
But sometimes
I was locking the doors too.
we choose not to look. We avert our eyes.
You know, I usually charge a fee for this. Ta-da.
Ricky has commodified his trauma. He's turned his experience on Gordy's home into a spectacle that he sells for money. And he's trying to do the same thing with the UFO eating horses. But the only reason Ricky can even do that is because people are deeply fascinated by the horror of the events.
There's a growing Gordy's Home fan base out there now. This Dutch couple paid me $50K to come in here and spend the night.
It's crazy, bro.
OJ and Emerald want to capture images of the thing that killed their father on camera. Doing this would accomplish three things. First, illuminate the real cause of their father's death as something more than just a freak accident.
They said it
That was insane, bro. Imagine you with your father, bro, and then like some shit just fall from the sky and like a coin fall into your father's brain and he just dies just like that, bro. It falls so fast, it goes into your father's eye, into his brain, causes so much brain damage that he just dies on sight. That's insane, brother.
That thing never made sense to me.
Second, it would create the potential for fame, money, and recognition in capturing an image of the spectacular or the horrific.
Yeah, I'm talking rich and famous for life.
Because there's a hungry audience for spectacle. And third, with their fame and money, they stand to take back some of the history of their family's involvement in Hollywood that was erased.
Did you know that the very first assembly of photographs in sequential order to create a motion picture was a 2-second clip of a black man on a horse? Yes, it was. Look it up. Now, I know you guys know Edward Moorbridge, the grandfather of motion pictures, who took the pictures that created that clip. But does anybody know the name of the black jockey that rode the horse?
Nope. I love the whole like the storyline that the family is like basically was meant to be in like motion pictures and film and shit like that, because like they were the first people to actually be on film, you know what I'm saying? Like their family, and not just their family at being like their family, but also being a black family is just, yeah, it really like added a lot of depth to the family and shit, and how the history of filmmaking in terms of, you know, the lineage of their family. I mean, it's a great story. It's a great story. Terrifying, but great.
Horror films themselves are a kind of commodification of trauma, not real trauma.
How do you make a movie set inside of a movie set? Like, I ain't never seen that shit been done, bro. That has never been done before.
Usually, although sometimes...
Okay, maybe it's been done. I'm tripping. But, like, yeah, how do they do that, though?
Lines certainly blur, like with Nope itself, where the Gordy's home storyline was inspired by real events. Images of trauma can help make the trauma more visible to those who might deny that it exists. It also might even help those who experience the trauma process it. But for those who bear the responsibility of capturing the images, for those whose trauma it is, for those who don't get to decide whether they look away or not, capturing it doesn't come without a cost.
What we document, so
This is the funniest guy in this whole film, bro. This nigga's hilarious.
it's gonna do some good. Huh? I mean, besides the money, maybe we can save some lives. Maybe we can even save Earth. Right?
Jean Jacket, the UFO, shouldn't be looked at. OJ is the one who figures this out and is able to avoid being sucked up into the sky because of it. The power of traumatic images can be avoided by not looking at them. But if we don't look, how do we know it's real? How do we prove to the world that it happened?
You never go wrong.
I will
With a
cast
fire fist.
abomination, filth at you, make you vile, and make you a spectacle.
You never go wrong with a fried fish sandwich.
Tell me what that means in the comments for y'all. You know, y'all deep divers, bro. Y'all deep divers. Tell me what y'all think, bro.
There's a scene in Nope where OJ, Emerald, and Angel have all just had this absolutely horrifying experience. One that totally confirms to them the presence of the UFO, and they're grabbing food and debriefing afterward. And OJ
I don't think it eats you if you don't look it in the eye.
OJ wants to actually talk about what happened, and this is how Emerald and Angel respond.
Heart to heart, bro. You know? Like, read the room.
Nobody want to talk about that.
I don't really know what this scene is saying in the grand scheme of the film, but I know one thing. I recognize the feeling this scene is conveying. There have been more times than I care to mention, especially recently, where I've been hanging out with a group of people and we all just recently learned about something horrific or terrible through the news. And often there's a tension between wanting to talk about it and just put it all out there and wanting to entirely ignore it and just try to maintain a sense of normalcy and move on with our lives. In these scenarios, what is the right thing to do?
What's this about? You want me to say, I'm sorry, what's wrong, it's dumb?
It wasn't though. On the moment.
I remember when Russia first attacked Ukraine, I wasn't just hearing news of this happening. For those first 48 hours especially, I was seeing POV footage of the attacks happening from the perspective of Ukrainians. I'm absolutely not equating the horror of seeing those videos with the horror experienced by the people who are actually there. But it struck me that this perspective afforded by a smartphone, the very personal and intimate individual nature of it, had an effect on me that felt very visceral compared to other footage I had seen of war in the past. Smartphones have genuinely changed the way we view from a distance traumatizing and horrific events.
I mean, yeah, that is
While
true.
these exact issues might be on Peele's mind with Nope, I think he's exploring this fundamental tension in a slightly different context.
As much as this is a dumbass decision that he made in the movie, this is probably just to send a message at the same time. Because this is what Jordan Peele does in like every single movie. Everything is calculated. Everything that you see, there's nothing that's left to chance. There's nothing that was like an accident for sure. Jordan knows what he's doing. Every character has its own, like, you know what I'm saying, own problems. Every character has a message to share to the audience, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. So when you see that, I mean, a lot of people would think like me just a while ago just thought that this was like a dumbass decision. But after hearing what Thomas said, like, yeah, he was just probably sending a message to the audience with this, you know, him being sucked up by the alien for looking at it and trying to catch the spectacle, quote unquote.
A lot of the analysis dealt with spectacle and this industry and business of spectacle, and that there's a magic to it and something that I've
Man, when is Jordan Peele coming out with another movie, man? When is he coming out? Yo, every 2 years he used to make a movie, I think it was, right? Every 2 years it was like 2017 it was Get Out. 2019 Us. When did they make this? 2021 Nope. I was expecting something in 2023. I don't know what was going on. I heard he was a producer in Monkey Man, and then like after that it was just nothing, man. I don't know. Maybe he's getting, like, you know what I'm saying, the longer we wait, he probably like cooking up some fucking fantastic movie right now, bro. Some fantastic story, chilling, horror filled, you know, great cast. He already has everything locked. You never know. Like this man is just, he's twisted. Like, I don't know how his mind works, but this is just like a representation of, you know, his imagination and shit like that. So I'm telling you, bro, don't be mad that y'all waiting so long. This man is probably cooking up some greatness right now.
my life to being a part of. and there's also something insidious about it.
In the opening of the film, we see a strange sort of frame around the credits.
Yeah.
We later learn that this
That's
is
the
the
mouth.
of
Yeah.
the alien itself.
Which is kind of fucked up. When you really think about it, that's kind of fucked up. But yeah, at the same time, it's like, it's an interesting and cool way to start the movie.
After we see the opening credits, the camera flies inside the mouth, and in the heart of the beast, we see the Muybridge footage, the first motion picture. And then it cuts to a similar image of a horse on a commercial film set. What is this untamable predator in Nope? It's the film industry.
It's impossible to work in this industry for very long without having scars of moments where you feel like you were exploited, or feel like you were infantilized or erased.
The movie industry has forgotten and erased the black horse jockey in the first motion picture, but it doesn't end there. Peele is engaging with the Western genre in this film. In addition to the setting, he alludes to Sidney Poitier's classic Western Buck and the Preacher, one of the few exceptions to Hollywood's whitewashing of the American West, where some historians estimate a quarter of all cowboys were black, a historical presence that is almost entirely missing from Hollywood Westerns, where stories about famous black cowboys were often turned into films with a white lead. In Nope, it's this monster predator that kills the black cowboy at the beginning. Capturing that monster on film helps illuminate that. But to do so, you have to get close to that thing that can chew you up and spit you out.
This dream you're chasing, the one where you end up at the top of the mountain, all eyes on you. It's the dream you never wake up from.
I never understood that part though. When he said that, when you're at the top of the mountain, all eyes on you is a dream you never wake up from. I'm guessing he's gonna explain that, but I just knew there was like some kind of deeper meaning behind that. And what he said before, it kind of makes me understand it, but it's still kind of confusing to me. You know what I'm saying? Like the dream that you never wake up from. What does that mean? You know what I'm saying?
What's terrifying about these scars is it's all wound up in the quest for attention. And so that's why, you know, fame is very destructive to people who don't have a secure system.
Yep. Very true, man. You can look at every celebrity that has ever been, you know, fantasize over, like Michael Jackson, bro. If you don't have a good background behind you, if you don't have a good team, if you don't have people that genuinely want to see you, you know, win, cause it also falls on that rise and fall narrative. A lot of people like that rise and fall shit, bro. I'm telling you, bro. People love to see you fail. It doesn't matter how big you are. It doesn't matter how nice you are. It doesn't matter nothing. It doesn't matter what you do, man. There'll always be people who don't want you to win. They just want to see you fail. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't have, and that's just one of the problems of being famous. So if you don't have a good set of people around you, you know what I'm saying? It'll swallow you whole, man. Kind of like the alien, kind of like the monster. So yeah, I mean, I'm starting to get a bigger picture of the story. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure who's the villain yet, though. Maybe I think he said the film industry would be like the in a way like evil, in the way that it does that, it consumes you, kind of like the alien did. So I'm maybe it's the film industry, maybe, probably.
Examining spectacle in this film. He's looking at it and mulling it around, but he's mostly asking questions. Peele doesn't need to offer an answer or solution to this duality, and I don't think he does within the film, besides honoring the efforts and triumph of OJ and Emerald, capture an image of the monster, and in doing so to help correct some of the erasure that they've experienced. And that's ultimately what Peele is literally doing with this film as well. He's capturing an image of a monster, the monster of our own horrifying fascination and exploitation of spectacle, and in doing so, he's helping to correct some of the erasure that black people have experienced in Hollywood. In an interview with Uproxx, Peele talks about the dynamic of having a scene where people are invited to a spectacle when that's also what he's doing with this movie. That scene you're talking about, I think, has some DNA connection to that idea that you can simultaneously invite an audience to a spectacle and indict them and yourself for putting it on and needing that spectacle. And he draws a connection between himself and the character of Ricky. The character he plays is a total character study. It's a unique guy that's based on, I think, observations about the type of trauma that this industry can inflict on people who are launched into the machine of attention. I'm very close to that character. Let's put it that way. I think it's easy for people to be frustrated or confused by movies like Nope that explore a duality or tension, especially when the expectation for Peele's work that's been set up by his past work is that he will have a pretty clear, concise, biting social commentary.
Yeah.
But I think commentary that doesn't provide an answer and instead pokes and prods at an issue and raises questions is still incredibly valuable and necessary.
It's like the This Is America video all over again, bro. Like Childish Gambino was like, bro, I'm gonna leave that up to y'all. Y'all figure out what I'm doing, bro. Y'all figured out what's going on in this. Y'all try to see between the lines. Think for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Do what you have to do. Do your research. You know what I'm saying? And that's the best kind of films, and that's the best kind of entertainment. The ones that you have to think about, the ones that you have to ask questions about, the ones that make your brain start working. You know what I'm saying? That's the best type of entertainment. It's better than having something where it's like it's so generic and you already know what's gonna happen. You already know the message. You already know everything. You know what I'm saying? It's better to have something that has mystery, even at the end of it. You know what I'm saying? It's like Sinners. Sinners has a lot of symbolism. Sinners has a lot of culture. A lot of questions need to be asked about Sinners. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't answer every one of them because it wants you to ask it. It wants you to think for yourself. Everybody has their own perspective, so you gotta have that perspective for yourself rather than a film industry putting it into your brain for you. You feel me? Because that's what they usually did, and that's what they thought entertainment was. But now that there's more diversity in it, and people people start to ask more questions, that then you realize that entertainment is you know what I'm saying, it's put in a box, man. It's really been put in a box. And I'm glad that we have filmmakers like that to make you think, like Jordan Peele, like Ryan Coogler, like these kind of people. Yeah, man, we need people like that.
Nope is a spectacular horror film about the danger of spectacle. It's a big budget Hollywood film that critiques the Hollywood industry. It's not a movie that can draw a clear resolution to those dualities. Instead, it's a film that explores the queasiness that arises when we're not sure if something is good or bad, but we find ourselves in the midst of it. Mubi is an online hand-curated
W Video, man. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I was entertained, bro. I thought I was watching a movie for real. And like the freaking quality, man. I don't know if he downloaded the actual movie, but that's crazy, bro. That's really like the quality is insane, bro. W Video, Thomas Flight, bro. Go check him out. He got 1.22 million subs, man. He's been doing this for a minute. That was like 2 years ago he made this video. Okay. Type shit. What they saying in the comments? Peele gave us a hint of the movie's theme right at the beginning when we learn about the main character named OJ. The OJ trial was perhaps the birth of the modern commodification of spectacle. That is a good angle. That I did not even see. Like I remember in the first scene where I think that they just showed it a while ago. I think it was right about there. In the first scene right there, there's a actress that comes up and asks him his name, and he's like OJ, and she's like, oh, and she starts backing up like as if, you know what I'm saying, like she was uncomfortable after a while. It was like, you know what I'm saying? So like I do get that angle though. I'm not gonna lie. That is a good angle. I didn't even see that. Like as far as you went in depth with it, I mean, I saw it when they said OJ. I was like, oh, OJ Simpson? But I didn't think that far. You know what I'm saying? Awesome that Nope did the whole how the internet and fame causes us to do dumb, unlikable, fucked up, and horrible things to achieve it better than all the others did without ever showing social media at all. What y'all think about that, man? Anyways, man, I'm gonna leave that up to y'all to think about, man. Who's the real villain of Nope? What y'all think about the movie? And you know what I'm telling me? Tell me in the comments if I should do videos like this again where I go into deep dives about this shit, or like watch videos about it that go into a deep dive about it. And yeah, man, I'll see y'all in the next one, man.